Okay, so this video addresses people's questions with their confusion on what to eat, and there's a lot of rules out there with what to eat and still not working, and it's just like, well, I'm eating this and some days I tolerate it and some days I don't, and like this person says, like my friend used to eat like raw veggies and that hurt me and that hurt some other women. And then there's just so much stuff out there that's like, it gets really confusing. And so I'm gonna offer you what I feel, and I really believe that I have a really sensitive stomach compared to like anyone, and I've experimented with so many different diets, and I know what it's like to have a really sensitive stomach, and I'll share with you what has worked for me, and kind of what rules there are, general rules when you have an irritated bowel. So you have a lot of inflammation going on, there's a lot of sensitivity there. No processed stuff. If it's already sensitive, the stomach cannot handle like processed food. Fresh food is the best. Soft food is the best. Raw stuff in general is not easy to digest because we actually don't have anything that breaks down fiber and cellulose and all that stuff. Like we don't have cow stomach, we don't have like that rumen. We have in our stomachs, what we have is pepsin, which it breaks down protein. So lots of soft meats and bone broths are awesome for an inflamed and sensitive gut. And then there's this confusion with, okay, well, red meat though is inflammatory. I'm not saying eat a lot of red meat, but like if your red meat is like good sourced red meat, so it's grass-fed cows and beef and you got the bones there, and thing is when you're cooking the bones from like grass-fed bones, which are the best bones to get really in my opinion, they have like collagen and the gelatinous meat around it, and if you stew it for a long time it gets really soft. That stuff builds and repairs your stomach lining. So that is, doesn't matter how, if you're confused about what to eat, you gotta do your bone broth. You gotta do your bone broth. And I'll share another video how you make bone broth. But yeah, bone broth is key. Staying away from gluten. Gluten is generally just not good for an inflamed, sensitive bowel because gluten is harder to digest. So things like soft rices are good. People say, do I do brown rice or do I white rice? I would say the softer the better. So brown rice has this kind of coating around it, right? Because it hasn't been stripped. There's more nutrition in brown rice, but at the same time it's harder to eat and it's harder on your digestive, I believe, like brown rice. Unless you cook it super, super soft or you germinate the brown rice, then you can do that. Or you can do little bits of white rice and see how you can tolerate that when you make. So making lots of soups and stews, and you can make them really delicious, because people talk about how, I have to give up everything. You do have to give up a lot, but at the same time, I'm gonna put a positive spin on it here. You get to eat how people actually used to eat, right? Soups and stews. People used to stay at home and nourish themselves by making delicious soups and stews. And when you're using really good sourced animals like beef and chicken and stuff, soups and stews can taste absolutely delicious. Broths are delicious. You can have broths with gluten-free noodles, like a little bit of rice noodle. You can eat a little bit with rice. It's so nourishing. And when you have such good meat in your diet, you don't crave a lot of the other things, because a lot of the time we're craving stuff is we have an addiction to sugar and all that stuff. Sugar is a no-no, by the way. Sugar is a no-no because it's inflammatory. It is not good for any disease, disorder, or syndrome. So that's definitely not good to eat. So no gluten, no sugar. And for some people, no dairy. And then we get into the section of probiotics. And I think I will do a separate video for that. So no gluten, generally no dairy. If you want to do like an organic cultured drink, that's fine, as long as it's low sugar, or like a really good yogurt. You can even make your own yogurt. And yeah, no sugar, no gluten, and for the most part, no dairy. For the most part, no raw vegetables unless you have, unless you feel like you can tolerate it and you have severe diarrhea issues and you want to bulk up your stool. But really, it's not the insoluble fiber that you want to up. You want to up your soluble fiber. So anything that creates a gel substance. There's a lot of products out there that you can get at your natural food store that creates like that's the prebiotic that creates the soluble fiber in that gel. But I never really liked those. I just like to do everything natural by food. And the only thing that I would suggest taking is, if you want to like up your probiotics, you can take probiotics. But there's a lot of IBS support kind of powders and stuff out there, but I never really liked that. And there's stuff like you could take like what is it called? There's like a glucosamine, and there's like these different powders that that build up your stomach lining, but there's nothing like natural bone broth, I believe. I believe that if you do everything from like natural meats as opposed to all these different powders, it's so much better for you. Even if you do if you get your probiotics from actually fermented food, it's probably, you know, better than the pills. I just personally try to stay away from all that stuff. So I hope that cleared up any confusion. I welcome more questions, but that's generally the confusion with diet and kind of what to stick to. Soft rices, gelatinous meats, soft stewed meats and soups, and any stewed veggies in the soup. Any like okay, so things like, it depends, like with certain fruits. Some fruits will make you bloat. I always stick to like papaya. Some bananas will make you bloat. Eggs were okay with me. They're not okay with other people. It's really hit and miss. But if you want the golden, what works with everyone is really nice low salt soups and stews and bone broth. That will work for anyone. Yeah, that would be it.